Josh could have married someone who'd actually fit in with us. The words hit me like a slap across the face. I was standing just around the corner from the resort's marble lobby, clutching 2 overpriced cocktails I'd bought for Teresa and Riley, when I heard my mother-in-law's voice dripping with disdain. My name is Emma, and I'd just spent 2 years saving every penny to plan what I thought would be the perfect family vacation. A 5-star resort in the Bahamas, private beach access, infinity pools overlooking turquoise water. The works. I mean, look at her, Teresa continued, her voice carrying that particular brand of cruelty that wealthy women perfect over decades of country club lunches. She tries so hard, but she'll never be one of us. Riley's laugh was like broken glass. The way she organised this whole trip like some desperate travel agent, it's embarrassing. I pressed myself against the cool wall, my heart hammering. They didn't know I could hear them. They didn't know I was the one who'd organised this trip, who'd paid for every single detail of their luxury getaway. "Emma, there you are." Josh's voice made me jump. I spun around, nearly dropping the drinks, and found my husband striding toward me with that practiced smile he wore whenever his family was watching. "The ladies are looking for their drinks," he said, taking them from my hands without so much as a thank you. "Josh, come on, don't keep them waiting." He was already walking away. I followed him back to the lobby where his family had claimed the best seating area like they owned the place. Teresa sat regally in a white linen dress that probably cost more than my monthly salary, her silver hair perfectly styled, despite the humidity. Alina lounged beside her, scrolling through her phone with the kind of bored expression that suggested the world owed her entertainment. "Finally," Alina said without looking up. "I thought you'd gotten lost." "The service here is so slow," I said, forcing a smile as I handed Teresa her drink. Teresa accepted it with barely a glance. "Well, you get what you pay for, I suppose." The irony wasn't lost on me. She had no idea what I'd actually paid for this place. Ray, Josh's younger brother, at least had the decency to nod his thanks when I gave him his beer. But even he seemed uncomfortable, like he wanted to be anywhere else. "So, Emma," Riley said, finally putting down her phone, "Josh was telling us about your little job at that publishing house. How quaint." "It's not little," I said, my voice sharper than I intended. "I'm an acquisitions editor." "Of course you are, sweetheart," Teresa said in that tone people use with children who've just announced they want to be astronauts. Josh shot me a warning look. "Don't embarrass us," it said. "Don't make a scene." I'd seen that look 1,000 times over the past 6 years. Every family dinner where I'd tried too hard to fit in, every holiday where I'd brought homemade gifts that were politely accepted and quietly discarded, every conversation where I'd been talked over, dismissed, or simply ignored. "I think I'll go check on our dinner reservation," I said, standing up. "Oh, that's already handled," Alina said airily. "Josh took care of it." I looked at my husband. "But I made those reservations weeks ago." "I had to make some adjustments," Josh said, not meeting my eyes. "You know how these places work." No, I didn't know how these places worked, because unlike them, I hadn't grown up with money. I'd researched every detail of this trip, called the concierge dozens of times, and put myself into debt to give them the perfect vacation. "What kind of adjustments?" "Nothing major," Josh said quickly, "just logistics." Teresa waved her hand dismissively. "Don't worry about it, dear. These things are complicated." I wanted to scream that I'd handled every complication for months. Instead, I excused myself to the bathroom, where I stared at my reflection in the gold-framed mirror and tried to remember why I'd thought this trip would change anything. When I returned, they were all laughing about something. The conversation died the moment they saw me. "What's so funny?" I asked, sitting back down. "Oh, nothing," Alina said with a smirk. "Just family stuff." Family stuff. After 6 years of marriage, I was still on the outside looking in. That's when I knocked over my coffee. It was an accident. My hands were shaking from frustration, but the ceramic mug shattered against the marble floor with a sound that made everyone in the lobby turn and stare. "Classic Emma," someone muttered. I never found out who said it. The next morning, I woke up to an empty bed. Josh was already gone, probably at the gym or getting breakfast with his family. Without me, as usual. I'd spent the night replaying every interaction from the day before, wondering how I'd become so invisible to the people I'd tried so hard to please. But today was a new day. I had activities planned, a couples massage for Josh and me, a yacht excursion for the whole group, dinner at the resort's most exclusive restaurant. Surely today would be different. I found them at the breakfast buffet, already seated at a table for 5. There were 6 of us. "Good morning," I said brightly, pulling up a chair from another table. "Oh, Emma!" Teresa looked surprised, as if she'd genuinely forgotten I existed. "We didn't think you'd be up this early." "I wanted to go over today's schedule with everyone. We have the yacht at 2, and I booked us all massages at the spa beforehand." Alina looked up from her phone. "Actually, we already went to the spa. They had a last-minute opening. But I booked us appointments for this afternoon." "We moved them," Josh said without looking at me. "It worked better with everyone's schedule." "What about my schedule?" Riley laughed. "What schedule? You're on vacation." I felt heat rise in my cheeks. "I meant the massage I booked for us." "Oh, that." Josh finally met my eyes. "I went with Ray instead. Guy time, you know? But it was supposed to be a couples massage." "Emma, you're being dramatic," Teresa said, cutting into her eggs Benedict. "It's just a massage." Just a massage, just like everything else I'd planned was just something they could change or cancel or ignore entirely. "What about the yacht?" I asked. "All set," Josh said. 2 o'clock sharp. At least that was something. I spent the morning alone by the pool, watching other families laugh and take pictures together. When 2 o'clock came, I met them at the dock, excited to finally do something as a group. The yacht was beautiful, a sleek white vessel with a full crew and champagne waiting on ice. I'd specifically requested it because the website said it was perfect for creating unforgettable family memories. "This is incredible," Ray said, accepting a glass of champagne from the captain. "Emma really outdid herself," I said, hoping someone would acknowledge that I'd planned this. "Josh has excellent taste," Teresa said, raising her glass in a toast. "To my wonderful son for organising such a perfect trip." I stared at her. "Actually, to Josh," Alina interrupted, clinking her glass against her mother's. Everyone drank except me. "I planned this," I said quietly. "What?" Josh asked, though I could tell he'd heard me perfectly. "The yacht, the resort, all of it. I planned this trip." "We all contributed," Josh said dismissively. "I paid for it." The silence that followed was deafening, except for the sound of waves against the hull. "That's not how I remember it," Teresa said finally. "Because Josh didn't tell you." I looked at my husband. "Did you?" Josh's jaw tightened. "Emma, not now." "When then? When would be a good time to mention that your wife saved for 2 years to pay for this vacation?" "You're embarrassing yourself," Alina said. "I'm embarrassing myself." My voice was getting louder. "I'm the one who's embarrassing." "Emma, calm down," Josh hissed. "People are staring." The crew was indeed trying very hard to look busy while obviously listening to every word. "Let them stare," I said. "Maybe they should know who actually paid for their salaries today." "That's enough," Josh said, grabbing my arm. "You're making a scene." I yanked away from him. "Don't touch me." For the rest of the 3-hour cruise, I sat alone at the back of the yacht while they clustered at the front, taking selfies and laughing like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't just told them the truth about who'd made their perfect day possible. That evening, I got dressed for dinner at Oceana, the resort's signature restaurant. I'd booked us a table for 6 at the chef's table, the most exclusive seating in the place. When I arrived at the restaurant, the hostess smiled politely. "I'm here for the Thompson party," I said. She checked her tablet. "I'm sorry, but I don't see a reservation under that name. Check under Emma Thompson." More scrolling. "I'm not seeing anything. Are you sure it's for tonight?" My stomach dropped. "Yes, I'm sure. I booked it weeks ago." "Let me check with my manager." While she walked away, I saw them. Josh, Teresa, Alina, Ray and Riley, seated at the chef's table. My chef's table. They were already eating appetizers, laughing at something Teresa was saying. The hostess returned with an apologetic smile. "I'm sorry, but that table is reserved for a party of 5. There seems to have been some confusion with the booking." A party of 5. They'd erased me completely. I stood there watching them eat at my table for exactly 30 seconds before turning around and walking straight back to my room. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the keycard to work. The next morning, I woke up with a splitting headache and the taste of the minibar wine I'd drunk alone. I had to find my passport. We were supposed to fly home in 2 days, and I needed to confirm our seats. I tore through my suitcase first. Nothing. Then my purse, my carry-on, even the hotel safe. My passport was gone. "Josh!" I called out, but the room was empty. Again. I found them at the breakfast buffet, looking fresh and rested, while I probably looked like I'd been hit by a truck. "Josh, I need to talk to you," I said, not bothering with pleasantries. "Can it wait? We're discussing today's plans." "My passport is missing." That got his attention, sort of. He looked up from his eggs with mild annoyance. "What do you mean, missing?" "I mean, it's not in my room, it's not anywhere. Did you see it?" "Emma, you're always losing things," Teresa said, not even looking at me. "Remember when you lost your earring at Christmas dinner?" "This isn't an earring, it's my passport." Josh shrugged. "You probably just misplaced it. Check your room again." I already checked everywhere twice. "Well, check again," Alina said. "Maybe you left it at the front desk or something." "Why would I leave it at the front desk?" "I don't know," she said with exaggerated patience. "Why do you do half the things you do?" Riley snickered into her orange juice. "Josh, please, I'm serious. Help me look for it." "Emma, we have plans today," he said. "The private beach excursion, remember? You can look for your passport later." "I can't travel without my passport." "Then you should have been more careful with it," Teresa said primly. I stared at her. "Are you serious right now?" "Don't take that tone with me, young lady." "Young lady? I'm 33 years old." "Then act like it," Josh snapped. "Stop being so scattered all the time." "Scattered?" My voice was getting louder. "I organised this entire trip down to the minute, and I'm scattered." "You're making a scene," Ray said quietly, glancing around the restaurant. "Good. Maybe someone here has seen my passport." Josh stood up abruptly. "That's enough. We're leaving." "We?" "The rest of us. You can stay here and look for your passport since you're so worried about it." I watched in disbelief as they all stood up and started walking away. "Josh, wait!" He turned back, his face cold. "What?" "Don't leave me here alone." "You're not alone. You're at a 5-star resort. Order room service, go to the spa, whatever. We'll be back tonight." "Where are you going?" "Private yacht to Paradise Cay. Adults only." Adults only. The implication hit me like a slap. "I am an adult." "Adults don't lose important documents," Teresa called over her shoulder. "Adults don't abandon their wives," I shouted back. Josh walked back to me, his face flushed with embarrassment. "If you can't keep track of your stuff like a grown-up, don't expect us to babysit you." "Babysit me?" "You heard me. You're an embarrassment, Emma. We can't take you anywhere without you causing some kind of drama." The words hit me like physical blows. "Drama? I'm trying to find my passport." "You're trying to ruin everyone's vacation because you can't handle basic adult responsibilities." He reached into his wallet and pulled out a $20 bill, throwing it on the table in front of me like I was a waitress he was stiffing. "Get yourself lunch. Maybe by the time we get back you'll have figured out where you put your passport." "Josh, please don't do this." But he was already walking away, following his family toward the resort's private dock. I ran after them, my flip-flops slapping against the marble floor. "Josh!" He didn't turn around. I followed them all the way to the dock, where a sleek white yacht was waiting. The same yacht company I'd used yesterday, probably. The captain helped Teresa aboard while she laughed at something Alina had said. "Please," I called out one last time. Josh finally looked at me from the deck of the yacht. For just a second, I thought I saw something like regret in his eyes. Then Alina said something to him, and he laughed. The yacht pulled away from the dock, leaving me standing there alone in yesterday's clothes with $20 and no passport. I watched until they disappeared around the point, the sound of their laughter carrying across the water long after I couldn't see them anymore. That's when something inside me shifted. The panic that had been clawing at my chest suddenly went quiet, replaced by something much colder, much more dangerous. I stood on that dock for exactly 5 minutes, watching their yacht disappear. Then I walked back to the resort with purpose I hadn't felt in years. The first stop was the front desk. "Good morning, Mrs. Thompson," the clerk said with a bright smile. "How can I help you today?" "I need to speak with Drew Morrison, please, the concierge who helped me plan this trip." "Of course, let me call him for you." Drew appeared within minutes, looking as polished as ever in his navy blazer. "Emma, how's the vacation going?" "It's been interesting," I said. "Could we talk privately?" He led me to a quiet corner of the lobby, his expression shifting to concern. "Is everything all right?" "Actually, no. I need to make some changes to our arrangements." "What kind of changes?" I pulled out my phone and opened my email. "First, I need to cancel the Thompson family's room reservations effective immediately." Drew's eyebrows shot up. "All of them?" "All of them. The bookings are under my name and my credit card. I'm the primary account holder for everything." Okay. May I ask why?" "They left me stranded here without my passport. Apparently I'm too much of an embarrassment to travel with." Drew's professional smile faltered. "They what?" "You heard me. So I'm cancelling their rooms, their spa appointments, their dinner reservations, everything. And I'm moving myself to the presidential villa. The presidential villa is $12,000 a night." "I know. I looked at it when I was planning this trip but thought it was too expensive. Turns out I was being too considerate." Drew stared at me for a long moment. "Emma, are you sure about this?" "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." He nodded slowly. "All right then, let's get started." We spent the next hour in his office, going through every reservation, every booking, every detail I'd arranged over the past 6 months. The rooms, the yacht charters, the spa treatments, the private dining experiences, even their return flights. "Their flights are changeable, but there will be fees," Drew said, typing rapidly on his computer. "Change them to economy, middle seats if possible." "And their current flights?" "Cancel them, all of them." "What about your flight?" "Upgrade me to first class. I'll leave when I'm ready." Drew's fingers paused over the keyboard. "Emma, this is going to cost them a fortune in rebooking fees and last-minute charges." "Good." "And when they come back tonight and find their keycards don't work—" "They'll figure it out. They're adults, right? That's what they keep telling me." Drew smiled for the first time since we'd started. "You know what? I like you, Emma. I've been doing this job for 8 years, and I've seen a lot of entitled families treat people badly, but I've never seen someone handle it quite like this." "Is that a professional opinion?" "That's a human opinion. Give me another hour to process everything." While Drew worked his magic, I went shopping. The resort had a boutique with designer clothes that cost more than my monthly car payment. I bought a white sundress that made me look like I belonged here, a pair of sandals that actually fit, and a wide-brimmed hat that screamed expensive vacation. Then I went to the spa. "I'd like the full-day package," I told the receptionist. "The goddess experience. That's a 6-hour treatment." "Perfect." I spent the afternoon being pampered in ways I'd never experienced. Hot stone massage, seaweed wrap, champagne facial, the works. Every time I started to feel guilty about the money, I remembered Josh throwing that 20 at me like I was a beggar. By the time I emerged from the spa, it was evening. Drew was waiting for me in the lobby with a keycard and a bottle of champagne. "Your villa is ready," he said, "and I have some updates for you." "Good updates or bad updates?" "Depends on your perspective. Their yacht got back an hour ago. They tried to use their keycards. And security had to escort them to the front desk when they started yelling at the night clerk." "Where are they now?" "The Paradise Inn down the road. It's not quite the same standard as this place." I took the keycard from him. "What about their flights?" "Cancelled. They'll have to rebook everything themselves. Oh, and Emma, there's one more thing." "What?" I found your passport. My heart stopped. You what? Drew held up a familiar blue booklet. Housekeeping found it in the Thompson family suite, specifically in Mrs. Teresa Thompson's luggage. I stared at the passport in his hands. She took it. Looks that way. She stole my passport and let me think I'd lost it. I'm not supposed to speculate about guest behaviour, but yes, that appears to be exactly what happened. I took my passport from him, my hand surprisingly steady. Drew? Yes? I'm going to need you to document exactly where you found this, with photos and timestamps. Already done, he said, handing me a folder. I figured you might want evidence. I looked at this man who'd helped me turn the tables on people who'd treated me like garbage for 6 years. Thank you. Thank you for letting me help. This has been the most satisfying day I've had at work in years. My phone buzzed. A text from Josh. Emma, where are you? Our key cards aren't working. I showed Drew the message. He grinned. Are you going to answer? I turned off my phone and slipped it into my new designer purse. Not tonight. The presidential villa was everything I'd dreamed it would be. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean, a private infinity pool, and a bathroom bigger than my apartment back home. I ordered room service, lobster and champagne, and took a bath in the marble tub while my phone buzzed incessantly on the nightstand. I'd blocked all their numbers, but the texts kept coming through the resort's messaging system. The next morning, Drew knocked on my door with coffee and pastries. Good morning, sunshine, he said, setting the tray on my terrace table. Sleep well? Like a baby. What's the damage report? Oh, it's beautiful, he said, pulling out his phone. Want to see the security footage from last night? There's security footage. The front desk incident made quite an impression. Your mother-in-law threw her purse at our night manager. Teresa threw her purse? A Hermes bag, no less, hit Marcus right in the chest. He's pressing charges. I nearly choked on my coffee. Charges? Assault. The police were called around midnight. She spent 3 hours in a holding cell before Josh bailed her out. You're kidding. I never kid about guest services, Drew said with a straight face. But wait, there's more. Your sister-in-law tried to use her Instagram influence to get them a free room at the Paradise Inn. Did it work? She has 12,000 followers. The Paradise Inn was not impressed. What about Josh? Ah, your husband. He's been calling the resort every hour demanding to speak to management. He seems to think there's been some kind of mistake. What kind of mistake? The kind where his wife pays for everything and then cancels it when he abandons her on a dock. I laughed, actually laughed for the first time in days. What did you tell him? That all changes to reservations must be authorised by the primary account holder, which is you. And he asked to speak to you. I told him you were unavailable. Indefinitely unavailable? That's up to you. My phone rang, the resort's main line. Don't answer it, Drew said. Let me handle this. He picked up his own phone. Drew Morrison speaking. Yes, Mr. Thompson, I understand your frustration. No, sir, I cannot override the primary account holder's decisions. Yes, sir, I'm aware you're her husband. No, sir, that doesn't give you financial authority over her accounts. He hung up and grinned at me. He's not happy. Good. What about the others? Ray seems genuinely confused about what happened. He keeps asking Riley what they did wrong. Riley, meanwhile, has been trying to book a flight home on her credit card, but apparently it's maxed out. And Alina? Your sister-in-law is having what I can only describe as a complete meltdown. She posted 17 Instagram stories last night about toxic family drama and fake people showing their true colours. She posted about this? Oh yes, including a photo of the Paradise Inn with the caption, "When people you trust leave you stranded." The irony was not lost on her followers. I stood up and walked to the edge of the terrace, looking out at the crystal-clear water. Somewhere down the beach, they were probably huddled in a cramped motel room, trying to figure out how to get home. Drew? Yes? I want to go for a walk, through the main lobby, maybe stop at the pool bar for a drink. Feeling brave? Feeling free? An hour later, I walked through the resort lobby in a flowing white dress and designer sunglasses, looking like I belonged there. Which I did, since I was paying for it. I heard them before I saw them. "This is ridiculous!" Teresa's voice carried across the marble floor. "We demand to speak to the manager." "Ma'am, as I've explained, the manager is in a meeting." "I don't care if he's meeting with the Pope. We are paying customers." "Actually, ma'am, according to our records, you're not." I turned the corner and saw them clustered around the front desk like refugees. Teresa looked haggard, her perfect hair showing grey roots. Alina was crying, actual tears running down her face. Riley stood apart from the group, clearly trying to distance herself from the chaos. Josh saw me first. "Emma!" The entire lobby went quiet. I could feel dozens of eyes on us as he rushed toward me. "Emma, thank God. There's been some kind of mix-up with our reservations. Can you help us sort this out?" I looked at him through my sunglasses. "Mix-up?" "Yes, they're saying our rooms are cancelled, but that's impossible. We're supposed to be here until tomorrow." "Actually, you were supposed to be here until tomorrow, past tense." "What do you mean?" I pulled out my phone and showed him the screen. "I mean, I cancelled everything. The rooms, the flights, the spa appointments, all of it." "You can't do that." "I can, actually, since I paid for all of it." Teresa marched over, her face red with fury. "This is childish, Emma. Grow up." "Funny," I said, pulling my passport out of my purse. "I found this in your luggage. Want to explain how it got there?" The colour drained from her face. I don't know what you're talking about." "Really? Because the housekeeping staff documented exactly where they found it, with photos and timestamps." Josh looked between his mother and me. "Mum, what is she talking about?" "I have no idea. She's clearly having some kind of breakdown." I handed Josh the folder Drew had given me. "See for yourself." He opened it, his face going pale as he looked at the photos. "Mum, did you take Emma's passport?" "Don't be ridiculous." "Then how did it end up in your suitcase?" The lobby was dead silent except for the sound of the fountain and Teresa's heavy breathing. "We were trying to teach her a lesson," she said finally. "What kind of lesson?" "That actions have consequences, that she can't just throw tantrums and expect us to—" "You stole my passport," I said quietly. "You let me think I'd lost it. You watched me panic and beg for help, and you did nothing." "We were going to give it back." "When? After you left me stranded here alone?" Josh was staring at the photos like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. "Emma," he said slowly, "I didn't know." "Didn't know, or didn't want to know?" He opened his mouth to answer, but I was already walking away. "Enjoy your stay at the Paradise Inn," I called over my shoulder. "I hear the continental breakfast is lovely." I spent the rest of the day by my private pool, sipping champagne and reading a book I'd bought from the resort gift shop. Every few hours, Drew would stop by with updates that were better than any entertainment I could have asked for. "Your brother-in-law just had a very loud argument with your husband in the Paradise Inn parking lot," he reported around 3 o'clock. "Ray and Josh?" "Ray apparently asked Josh why he didn't stop his mother from taking your passport. Josh said he didn't know about it. Ray called him a liar." "Ray said that?" "Loudly. Several other guests heard the whole thing. Ray packed his bags and took a taxi to the airport. He's flying standby." "Good for him." "It gets better. Riley tried to get Ray to pay for her flight home. He told her to ask the people who got her into this mess." "And?" "She's currently sitting in the Paradise Inn lobby with all her luggage, crying into a pina colada." By evening, Drew had more news. "Your sister-in-law just posted a 40-minute Instagram live video," he said, settling into the chair across from me on the terrace. 40 minutes? About what?" "Everything. The passport, the cancelled reservations, how her mother made a mistake, but you're being vindictive and cruel. She's getting absolutely destroyed in the comments." People are taking my side. "Oh, honey, you have no idea. Someone screen recorded the whole thing and posted it on TikTok. It's going viral. Crayon passport theft is trending." I nearly dropped my wine glass. "It's what?" "Trending. People are calling your in-laws passport pirates and vacation villains. There are memes. Show me. Drew pulled out his phone and scrolled through TikTok. Video after video of people reacting to Alina's live stream, all of them horrified by what Teresa had done. "This woman stole her daughter-in-law's passport and left her stranded," one girl said into her phone. "Then had the audacity to call it a lesson. The audacity!" Another video showed a woman dramatically reenacting the dock scene. "Please don't leave me here alone," she pleaded to her camera, then switched angles. "You're an embarrassment, Emma," she said in a mocking voice. "Here's $20, figure it out." How do they know what Josh said to me? Alina included that detail in her rant. She was trying to justify their behaviour, but it backfired spectacularly. My phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't recognise. "Girl, I saw your story on TikTok. You are iconic. Don't let them gaslight you." Then another. "Passport pirates got what they deserved. Stay strong." Drew, how many people have seen this? Last I checked, 2 million views and climbing. I stared at my phone as more messages poured in from strangers offering support, sharing their own stories of toxic in-laws and cheering me on. It was overwhelming and oddly comforting at the same time. "There's more," Drew said gently. "Josh has been trying to do damage control. He posted a response video." "What did he say?" "That it was all a misunderstanding. That his mother made an error in judgment, but you're overreacting. That families should work through problems privately, not air their dirty laundry online." "How's that going for him?" "Not well. People are pointing out that he threw you $20 and called you an embarrassment in public. Hard to spin that as a private family matter." My phone rang. Josh's number. "Don't answer," Drew said. I'm not going to." But I was curious about what he might say. It rang again, then again. "He's persistent," Drew observed. "He's desperate. There's a difference." The call stopped, but a text came through. "Emma, please, we need to talk. This has gotten out of hand." Then another. "I know you're angry, but this social media thing is hurting everyone. Can we please work this out like adults?" I showed Drew the messages. "Like adults?" he read aloud. "That's rich, coming from someone whose mother stole your passport and whose response was to abandon you with $20. Should I respond? That's entirely up to you. But if you do, remember that anything you say might end up on social media too. Alina's been screenshotting everything." I thought about that for a moment, then typed back, "Adults don't steal passports. Adults don't abandon their spouses. Adults don't gaslight people into thinking they're overreacting to abuse. We can talk when you're ready to act like the adult you claim to be." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. The response came immediately. "This isn't abuse, Emma. You're being dramatic." I showed Drew the message. He shook his head. "Even now he's still doing it." "Doing what?" "Gaslighting you, making you question your own reality. Classic manipulation tactic." My phone buzzed again. This time it was a call from Teresa. "Now that's interesting," Drew said. "The matriarch herself." I let it go to voicemail, then played the message on speaker. "Emma, this is Teresa. I think we need to have a conversation, woman to woman. I'm willing to admit that perhaps I made some poor choices, but this public humiliation needs to stop. You're embarrassing the entire family. Call me back so we can discuss this like civilized people." Drew raised an eyebrow. "Perhaps she made some poor choices." "That's the closest thing to an apology I've ever gotten from her." "Are you going to call her back?" I looked out at the ocean, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. For 6 years I'd jumped every time these people called. I'd bent over backward trying to earn their approval, their acceptance, their basic human decency. "No," I said finally, "I don't think I am." 2 days later, I was sitting on my terrace eating breakfast when my phone rang. Josh's number. I'd been ignoring his calls for 48 hours, but something made me answer this time. "Emma." His voice was different, smaller somehow. "Josh, thank you for picking up." I didn't respond. Let him fill the silence. "Emma, I need to tell you something about the passport." I already know about the passport. Your mother stole it. No, I mean, I knew. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? I knew she took it. I was there when she did it. I set down my coffee cup with shaking hands. You were there. She said it would teach you a lesson about being more responsible, about not causing drama. Drama. Emma, please let me explain. You watched your mother steal my passport. You watched me panic and beg for help. You threw $20 at me and called me an embarrassment, and you knew the whole time. It wasn't supposed to go that far. We were going to give it back before we left for the yacht, but then you started making such a scene. A scene? I was looking for my passport. You were yelling at my mother. Because she stole from me. Silence stretched between us. I could hear him breathing, could almost picture him running his hands through his hair the way he did when he was stressed. Emma, I'm sorry. I know I screwed up, but this social media thing has gotten completely out of control. My boss saw the videos. I might lose my job. Good. Good. Emma, we need my job. We have a mortgage, car payments. We don't have anything, Josh. I have a mortgage and car payments. You have a wife who's about to divorce you. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. Emma, please, I know you're angry, but we can work through this. We always do. No, we don't. I always do. I always forgive you, make excuses for you, pretend your family's abuse is just their way of showing love, but not this time. It's not abuse. Stop! My voice was ice cold. Don't you dare gaslight me right now. Your mother committed a crime. She stole my passport and let me think I was losing my mind. You helped her. That's not a mistake, Josh. That's cruelty. She's family, Emma. She's my mother. And I'm your wife. Or was. Past tense. Emma, listen to me. I'll make this right. I'll pay you back for the trip. I'll talk to my mother. I'll do whatever you want. But you have to stop this social media campaign against us. I haven't posted anything on social media. But you're not stopping it either. People are calling my office, Emma. They're leaving reviews on my company's website. Alina had to delete all her accounts. My mother is afraid to leave her house. Maybe she should have thought about that before she became a passport thief. Don't call her that. That's what she is, Josh. That's what you both are. Thieves. You stole my passport, my dignity, and 6 years of my life. 6 years? Emma, we've been happy. I've been trying to be happy. There's a difference. Another long silence. When he spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper. What do you want from me? I want you to admit what you did. On camera. I want you to tell the truth about who planned this trip, who paid for it, and what really happened with my passport. Emma, I can't do that. It would destroy us. You already destroyed us. This is just making it official. Please, there has to be another way. There is. You could have been a decent husband 6 years ago. You could have stood up for me instead of joining in when your family tore me down. You could have told me the truth about the passport instead of letting me think I was going crazy. But you didn't do any of those things. I was trying to keep the peace. Whose peace, Josh? Because it sure wasn't mine. Emma, I love you. The words should have meant something. 6 years ago, they would have made me forgive everything. Now they just sounded hollow. No, you don't. You love having someone to blame when things go wrong. You love having someone to make you look good in front of your family. You love having a wife who pays for vacations and asks for nothing in return. But you don't love me. That's not true. Prove it. How? Make the video, Josh. Tell the truth. All of it. And if I do, will you come home? Will you try to work things out? I looked out at the ocean, at the life I'd built for myself in just a few days. A life where no one called me dramatic or scattered or embarrassing. A life where I was respected and valued. I'll consider not taking you for everything you're worth in the divorce. Emma, those are my terms. Take them or leave them. I hung up and immediately blocked his number. An hour later, Drew knocked on my door with a tablet in his hands. You're going to want to see this, he said. On the screen was a video of Josh sitting in what looked like the Paradise Inn's lobby. His hair was messy, his shirt wrinkled, and his eyes were red-rimmed. "My name is Josh Thompson," he said, looking directly into the camera, "and I need to tell you the truth about what happened on our family vacation." Josh's confession video was everything I'd hoped for and more. He admitted that I'd planned and paid for the entire trip. He confirmed that his mother had stolen my passport while I slept. He even acknowledged that he'd known about it and done nothing to stop it. "My wife Emma deserved better than this," he said into the camera, his voice breaking. "She deserved better than all of us." The video went viral within hours. The comments were brutal but fair. People weren't just angry about the passport anymore, they were disgusted by the years of emotional abuse he'd finally admitted to. Drew found me by the pool that afternoon, grinning like he'd won the lottery. "Your husband's video has 3 million views," he said, "and I have news." Good news or bad news? Depends on your perspective. Josh's company fired him this morning. I should have felt guilty. Instead, I felt nothing. "There's more," Drew continued. "A lawyer contacted the resort. She wants to represent you pro bono. Apparently, she specializes in cases involving financial abuse and emotional manipulation." Financial abuse? Using someone's money while undermining their self-worth? Making them feel grateful for basic respect. Sound familiar? It did sound familiar. Terrifyingly familiar. "What's her name?" "Sarah Chen." Drew caught himself. "Sarah Martinez. She's flying in tomorrow if you want to meet with her." That evening, I got a call from Ray. "Emma, it's Ray, Josh's brother." "I know who you are." "Right, listen, I wanted to apologise for all of it. I should have said something years ago." "Why didn't you?" "Honestly, I was a coward. It was easier to go along with them than to rock the boat. But watching that video, seeing what we put you through, I'm ashamed." "Thank you for saying that." "I testified for Josh's company investigation, by the way. Told them exactly what kind of person he is, what kind of family we are." "Ray, no, Emma, we're not good people. We never were. You tried to love us anyway, and we treated you like garbage. You don't owe us forgiveness." He hung up before I could respond. The next morning, Sarah Martinez turned out to be a sharp woman in her 40s who took one look at my situation and started making calls. "Your husband's been financially abusing you for years," she said bluntly. "The good news is you have documentation of everything. Bank records, credit card statements, even video evidence of his confession." "What does that mean?" "It means you're going to be just fine, better than fine." She was right. The divorce was swift and decisive. Josh had to buy out my half of the house at market value. I kept my car, my retirement accounts, and received a substantial settlement for emotional distress. The video confession made it impossible for him to fight any of it. Teresa sent me a letter, handwritten, probably to seem more personal. It was 3 pages of non-apology apologies. "I'm sorry you felt hurt by my actions, and perhaps I could have handled things differently." She never once admitted she'd committed a crime. I threw it away without finishing it. Alina tried a different approach. She showed up at my new apartment, a beautiful place downtown that I could actually afford now, with tears and a bouquet of expensive flowers. "Emma, please," she said when I opened the door. "I know we messed up, but we're family." "No, we're not. You can't just throw away 6 years. "I didn't throw them away. You did, when you spent 6 years making me feel worthless." "That's not what we meant to do." "Intent doesn't matter, Alina. Impact does." I closed the door in her face. A week after I got back home, I received an email that changed everything. The subject line read, "I think we need to talk." The sender was someone named Jessica Walsh. She'd seen Josh's confession video and recognized him immediately. "He did the same thing to me 5 years ago," she wrote. "Not the passport thing, but the emotional manipulation, the gaslighting, making me pay for everything while his family treated me like dirt. I thought I was the only one." We met for coffee the next day. Jessica was a teacher, soft-spoken and kind. with the same haunted look I'd seen in my own mirror for years. He told me I was too sensitive, she said, that his family was just particular about who they let in. How long were you together? 3 years. I would have married him if I hadn't found out he was cheating. Cheating? With his co-worker, the same one he's dating now according to social media. I stared at her. He's already dating someone? Emma, the divorce isn't even final yet. That's when I realised Josh hadn't just been cruel, he'd been planning his exit for months, maybe years. We should warn her, Jessica said quietly, the new girlfriend. She deserves to know what she's getting into. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Yes, she does. We spent the afternoon crafting a careful, factual email to Josh's new girlfriend. No drama, no accusations, just the truth about what he'd done to both of us. We included links to his confession video and offered to answer any questions she might have. She never responded, but Jessica and I kept in touch. We started a support group for women who'd been emotionally abused by partners and their families. It grew faster than we'd expected. Drew visited me when he was in town for a conference. We had dinner at a restaurant where no one knew my story, where I was just Emma, not that woman from the passport video. Any regrets? He asked over dessert. I thought about it seriously. About the divorce? No. About the public humiliation? Sometimes. But then I remember how they made me feel for 6 years, and I think they got exactly what they deserved. And Josh? Josh is someone else's problem now. Speaking of problems, Drew said with a grin, guess who got arrested last week? Teresa? Assault charges from that night she threw her purse at Marcus. Turns out she also tried to bribe a police officer. She's looking at jail time. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. Emma? Yeah? You know this isn't really about revenge anymore, right? What you're doing with the support group, helping other women, that's about healing. He was right. Somewhere along the way, my anger had transformed into something more useful. Something that helped people instead of just hurting them. I know, I said, and it feels good. Better than revenge ever could.